Om Shanti. English avyakt versions. 11th of July 1972. Knowing the specialties of the present time, have you imbibed all the powers and made yourself a special soul? Just as you speak of the specialties of this time, in the same way, do you see those specialties in yourself? Are there as many specialties in the self, Swayam, or there are of the time, Samay? Or is it that there are more specialties of the time and less of the self? How much difference do you think there is between the time and the self? Is there a difference? Are you powerful or is the time powerful? At present, the time is powerful, though the self should be powerful. If you say it should be this, then what is the difference between non-Jnani and weak souls of the world and you Jnani souls? You master almighty authority souls. Even those people say it should be like this, it should be like that. If you also say it should be like this, then what is the difference? That is the difference between those who have knowledge and those who don't. People say that it should be like this or that, whereas knowledgeable souls do not say this, but they demonstrate it practically. Those people simply speak about it, whereas knowledgeable souls do it practically. That is the difference. They simply speak about it, whereas you do it. If you even now say it should be like this, then what is the difference? Ask yourself what are the specialties of the time, and out of those specialties, what specialties do I lack in myself? If even one specialty is missing, would I be able to be in the list of those who are special souls? I would not, would I? Make a list of the specialties of this time, and you will be able to see many specialties. Out of those specialties, what is the elevated specialty of this time? This is the time of the confluence age that we are passing through, is it not? It is the time to become elevated. But what is the greatness of this time that cannot exist at any other time? The specialty of the confluence age is that every second of the confluence age is a sweet mela in which souls have a meeting with the Father. No other age has this specialty, which you call the meeting of the Father and the children. Do you constantly imbibe this specialty in yourself as you move along? Just as every second of the confluence age is a mela, in the same way, do you experience yourself to be celebrating a meeting with the Father at every second? Or while moving along in this elevated mela, do you sometimes let go of Babdada's hand and thereby deprive yourself of the mela and of celebrating a meeting? Sometimes some children get lost in a mela. They let go of their parents' hand. A mela is for celebrating with happiness. If some children in a mela become separated from their parents, or they let go of their parents' hand, then what attainment will they have? Instead of happiness, they will become even more anxious. So look at yourself. Am I constantly experiencing the attainment of happiness in the Mela? Am I constantly celebrating a meeting? What would indicate those who are constantly celebrating in happiness? What would their specialty be? What would indicate those who stay in the supersensuous joy of constantly celebrating a meeting? What would their specialty be? Those who are constantly absorbed in celebrating a meeting will never become caught up with any obstacle. The meeting removes obstacles. Such souls will be destroyers of obstacles. A meeting is said to be with deep love. If any type of obstacle comes and you become influenced by the obstacle, then what does that signify? That you are not constantly celebrating a meeting. You tell others to recognize the time and to take benefit of the time. So, do you give this warning to yourself, or do you simply give this warning to others? When you give yourself this warning, then you are not able to stay away from a meeting for even 1 second. You will celebrate a meeting at every second. When a huge mela takes place, its time is fixed. This mela is going to last for this long, and then it finishes. A huge mela takes place for a very short time, and so what would you do? you would try to celebrate in that Mela. In the same way, if you do not celebrate the Mela of the confluence age, will this Mela take place at any other time? It is only in this short time that the Mela meeting of the father with the children takes place. So what should you do in this Mela of a short time? You should celebrate it every second. So, while knowing of specialities of the time, imbibe those specialities in yourself, and you will automatically become elevated souls. Everyone's aim is to become an elevated soul, is it not? While having the aim to become elevated souls, why are your efforts ordinary? If your aim is elevated, then why are your qualifications those of an ordinary soul? What is the reason for this? You forget the aim. How can those who keep an aim forget their aim? Why is the power to find a solution to any problem lacking? What is the reason for this? Why are you not able to find a solution? Because of not finding a solution, you are not able to achieve the aim you have kept. So, why is the power to find a solution lacking? For those who are following Shrimad, as is their aim, so will be their qualifications. So, if your aim is elevated and your qualifications are ordinary, then what is the reason for that? It is because you are not able to find a solution to the obstacles. What is the reason for not finding solutions? Which power is missing? The power to discern. That is right. Until you are able to discern, you cannot find a solution. But if you are not able to discern something, you will then be able to find a solution. However, there is something missing in your being able to discern. And why are you not able to discern? It is because you are not free from negative thoughts, because of having wasteful or negative thoughts in your intellects, because your intellects are not clear, you are not able to discern, and because of not being able to discern, you are not able to find a solution. Because of not being able to find a solution, you become influenced by something else. What is the easy method you have been given? Just as you have a hard stick to recognize gold, and you can tell from that whether it is real or false. In the same way, what yardstick do you have in front of you in order to increase your power to discern? The yardstick is Sakar Baba's every activity and character. Whatever actions you perform and whatever thoughts you have, if you check yourself against this yardstick as to whether they are accurate or not, whether they are wasteful or powerful, then after checking yourself against this yardstick, they will become easy and elevated. Because you do not keep this yardstick with you, you find it takes effort. You forget the easy method. Because of this, you are unable to find liberation from obstacles. What would happen if a goldsmith did not have a proper yardstick? He would be deceived in the same way. If you don't constantly have this yardstick with you in your awareness, then you experience difficulty. It is easy, is it not? In that case, does it become difficult? You do not use the method you have been given. If you use the method, then you will definitely have liberation. Whether they are storms through thoughts, or whether they are storms or obstacles through any relationship, matter, or problems, the reason for not experiencing liberation from those is that you don't use the right method. You have not become accurate in method. Yukti Yukta. The more accurate you are in yoga, Yog Yukta, and in method Yukti Yukta, the more you will definitely become liberated from all obstacles. So, are you free from all obstacles, or do you get caught up with them? It is because you do not remain accurate in yoga, Yog Yukta, that you become caught up with obstacles. When you have any programs, when you give lectures or explain to anyone, then what is the main thing that you tell everyone? Liberation, and liberation in life is your birthright. So, since it is your birthright, then attain it. Then you say, if not now, then never. So, have you attained this main slogan of liberation and liberation in life as your birthright? You have become the children and yet not claimed the right. We explain to others as soon as you become a child, you claim a right to the inheritance. So, is this something that you just explain to others, or is it something to do practically? It is a different matter to be worthy. But have you received the inheritance of liberation and liberation in life? Have you attained it here? Or are you going to receive liberation in the land of liberation and liberation in life in heaven? You are going to receive it in the future anyway, but together with the future, you haven't received liberation and liberation in life at this time. But since you have found the Father at this time, you will receive the inheritance at this time too. So, are you moving along on the assurance of the future? We have received a check. Children are not given a check. Children have a right to everything of the Father. Those who have a right are not given the assurance of a check. The practical inheritance is received at this time. Liberation in life is experienced at the same time as being in bondage in life. There, there is no question of bondage in life. There, you would simply be in the state of that reward. In the land of liberation, you will not be able to have the experience of liberation there that you are able to experience now. So do not think that you are going to receive a right to liberation and liberation in life in the future. No, since you have become the children, you have also received your inheritance. However, there is then a number on how far you become obedient and faithful and follow all instructions. You become one who has the right to the inheritance. It depends on each one's stage, how you adopt that inheritance in your life and take the benefit of it. The Father does not make any difference in giving the inheritance. The difference is created by your being worthy or unworthy. This is why it is said you constantly attain your birthright by yourself. You should be constantly liberated. Should you not be free from the body and the relationships of the body, and also be free from the awareness of the old world? Have you not become free? If you experience the stage of liberation, then after being liberated, you will automatically experience being liberated in life. Because you are living your life, you are a bodily being. While living this life, you are free from the bodily relationships and attractions of the old world. This is called the stage of being liberated in life. So you have to experience liberation and liberation in life at this time and not in the future. In the future, you will continue to receive the reward of the attainment of this time. However, the attainment is to be experienced at this time. First, it is understood of the future that is the reward of your elevated actions, but it is now that you perform the elevated actions. So the experience of attainment will also be at this time. Do not simply keep yourself assured of the future. Do not simply remain checking yourself while keeping the check with yourself. Do not do this. Look at yourself. To what extent am I moving along with the inheritance that I have received from the Father? The Father has given it. No one can snatch the inheritance away from someone who has a right to it. So maintain the intoxication and faith that you have a right. Simply check that you are not wasting somewhere or the inheritance that you have received. There are many children who receive a lot but who also lose a lot. Because of losing it, although you do receive something, you still remain a beggar. Because while having a right, you become dependent. When you don't have a right, you will definitely be dependent. You become influenced by obstacles because you have not received a right. If you constantly move along as one who has a right, then you cannot be influenced by any obstacles. Do not become dependent on matter. Just as the Father takes the support of matter but does not become dependent on it, in the same way you have to move along whilst making that body and these elements your support and not being dependent on them. Acha, have you seen the game of aerobics? Those in the bhatti demonstrated aerobics very well today. Now in the completion, all the weaknesses will also be finished. Will they not? You will then not play these games, will you? To those who constantly maintain the faith and intoxication of a right to liberation and liberation in life, to the souls who become elevated by adopting all types of greatness, love, remembrance, and namaste. Om Shanti.